we could look forward. Let me start playing the countdown. It worked.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you very much to Ryan Treasure, the voice of Introductions Extraordinaire. I'm Bonnie D. Happy to be here, and this is another one of my very special editions. I'm calling this the Technology Revolution Spotlight. And my special guest, the gentleman with a really wild shirt and a fabulous fedora hat. He keeps changing hats on me. It's Dr. Bob F. We're going to go call Bob F., but he's Bob Ficken. He's been a guest on so many of my shows. Coming up in a couple of weeks, you're going to be on a show about the future of intergenerational teaching and learning with a baby boomer, with a Gen Jones. We have a Gen Jones. That's Mary Nunnally. We have a Gen Z. We have a Gen Y. My goodness. And you're going to demo some apps. So, Bob, before I do the formal introduction, how are you?
And just think about how many LLMs will be created between now and then.
There you go. There you go. You ready for me to do the opening monologue, the poem? Everybody's going to know completely about your whole life. Are you ready to share that?
I am ready.
Okay. And then we'll do a little AI talk, and then we'll get into our agenda today. So, and by the way, let's wave hello to LinkedIn. Let's wave hello to Facebook twice. And let's wave hello to YouTube. Of course, we're waving hello. And Bob, did you like the sound effects? I've got new sound effects now. I have to give credit to my engineer, Jordan Henson, who is on the line with us. He's not talking today, but he'll be co-hosting a new show with me in a couple of weeks. And Jordan said, "Hey, Bonnie D, it's time to raise the excitement level here. We need some sound effects." So he did that. Thank you, Jordan, for the suggestion. So here we go. You may know us well. Bonnie D and Dr. Bob F2, seasoned in life. We love what we do. From LinkedIn's halls to social's embrace, give yourself a hug, Bob, social's embrace. We love sharing insights in our savvy people space. Now on We Dish, because this is a special edition, we're here to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way. Welcoming Bob F., Dr. Bob, a cool dude on a lifelong quest. Here's my rhyming intro, and then he'll tell us the rest. Here we go. Bob F., a Californian through and through. Can't you tell by looking at him? Second-gen native, where Golden State skies are so blue, like his shirt. His first plane ride at just 3 years old to Bermuda's beauty, a memory to behold. In Newark, California, his childhood took shape, with sisters and sweet cherries and sweet orchard escapes, from Cub Scouts to Boy Scouts, Troop 379, and a paper route started at age 11. He was in his prime. At 14, the flames brought a frightful plight. He jumped from the window into the night. The family was safe, though the house had to mend, and history's moments shaped Bob to great end. Through Vietnam protests and Apollo's great leap, Bob witnessed the world and its moments so deep. From retail beginnings at Long's drugstore to deputy sheriff at 21, he opened a new door. You know what? Yes, I've got the right poem. Okay, it opened the right door. Patrolling streets, solving crimes with grit, tasked with ensuring justice, Bob never quit. On April 1st, 78, he swore to uphold the law. Jail security was his post, where challenges he saw. They housed William and Emily Harris, SLA's notorious pair, in the thick of history. Bob was firsthand aware. At Berkeley courts, as a marshal, new reality would unfold. Shira, the mad bomber, struck the PG&E building bold. Livermore called in 81, "Bob, Bob," and police officer Bob replied. Through 5 years on patrol, his skills he applied. Promotion to detective brought cases cold and dire. Murders to solve, but his commitment didn't tire. Alas, Bob returned to school with a scholar's drive. Balancing his badge with his books, a new career did arrive. Earning a bachelor's, a master's, plus a PhD. He learned human and organizational development, if you please, A to Z. In 89, Drug Barn called and thought, Bob, we want your HR skill. There, he led HR with expertise to fit the bill. By 95 at Century Theaters, he rose, guiding teams as the HR leader they chose. DBC Broadcasting called in 98. Your phone was really ringing busy there, where his leadership soared to innovate. That same year, as a professor, Dr. Bob began teaching AI, ethics, and leadership's grand plan. Entrepreneurship, too, Bob passionately taught, inspiring minds with the knowledge he brought. His career reflects his dedication and his heart, a true leader in every role in which he took part. Bob's traveled the globe from France to Peru, as humble always. He's traveled the globe from France to Peru, a lifetime of stories, adventures anew. As CHRO and AI guide at ask.hr.com, Dr. Bob's wisdom and passion are steadfast with aplomb. Now a grandfather to a little one with glee, Bob's life is still a journey, a heartfelt spree. With tales to inspire, he stands as proof that life's richest lessons are under the family roof. A pioneer, a leader with passion so true, Dr. Bob F's journey will surely inspire you. From California to tech, his talents align. Here on Technology Revolution Spotlight, his stories will truly shine. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me finish it. We're here on Technology Revolution Spotlight, chatting on life score, culture, music, food, cars, and oh, so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. Well, we won't be here, but that's what on demand's for. Enjoy our dishing with shared delight. Meet us for real here in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know. Spotlight, we dish. Too saucy dame and cool dude too. Dr. Bob and Bonnie D dishing on life's fun pour vu. There you go. What do you think?
Fabulous.
I'm glad. Did you recognize the person in the poem?
Yeah, I got nothing left to say about myself. You told it all.
There you go. I have, recently I started a new show called HB to You, Happy Birthday to You, and you have co-hosted once, and you're going to do it again, I believe, a couple times. You can come back anytime you want. I'm looking for guest co-hosts, and I always do the actors, musicians, famous people's birthdays of the day. But if you'll permit me, I have three birthdays I'd like to announce before we get started. Is that okay, Bob?
Go for it.
Okay, you don't even have to do it this time. Will Ferrell, or Pharrell, actor, comedian, is 58 today. Yay, happy birthday. He is famous for his SNL sketch More Cowbell with Christopher Walken and Jimmy Fallon. He's also been in the films Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. He was in Elf, the Christmas movie, and Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and so much more. Happy birthday to Will, age 58. And Barbara Stanwyck, the great actress, was born on this date in 1907. And Ginger Rogers, actress and dance partner of Fred Astaire. They always said she could do everything Fred Astaire could do, but backwards in high heels, was born on this date in 1911. So there we go. So Bob, welcome. We're going to talk We Dish. We're going to do our favorite songs and movies and wacky stories and all that. But let's get down to business. I'm booking this as two techies talk. So I'm a techie, you're a techie. I'm a proud geek. I'm a proud nerd. I think you are too. Let's talk a little bit about AI. Let's do some positives here because that's usually why you're here on the show, talking about the benefits of AI to education, to industries, to lifestyle. So, Bob, going to give us a little overview of what you're thinking about or what you're doing with AI these days, and I'll tell you mine. Go ahead.
Sure. Well, AI is changing everything as we thought it would. We're still seeing about 20, 25 new large language models or LLMs created and released every week. Last week, I already shared with you, I think it was Friday, Bonnie, but not for this audience, that they've actually, scientists have worked with AI to develop a blood test for Alzheimer's, which is fabulous. It's so much easier to test via blood than to go through the convoluted, complicated process they previously used. So I think that's fantastic. I think the other thing is that, we're going to see AI in education sooner than later, I think. Merritt College in Oakland, California, has already committed to an AI classroom where it's all going to be taught using AI and virtual reality goggles and those kinds of things. So that's pretty exciting.
Wait a minute. What age group would that be? Do you know at that school?
It's college, so it could be anywhere from 18 to you know.
Okay, so it's semi grown-ups. It's late teens to early adults, so they're old enough to know what virtual reality is and to take it hopefully seriously. Go ahead, Bob. Tell us some more.
I just think that we're seeing, and I guess one of the things I'd like to dispel again, and every chance I get, is I still hear people being afraid of AI, and mostly from the viewpoint of it costing them their job. And I want to say, as honestly as I can, that yes, it's going to eliminate some jobs, but it's going to create 250 to 450,000 more jobs than it eliminates. The only difference is there'll be more AI related. So people will have to learn how to write prompts and all that. You don't have to know this stuff to start with. There are LLMs that will help you teach you how to write a prompt. So everything you need is out there. It's just a matter of grabbing it and instead of pushing it away, embrace it. Learn how to use it and go
I
forward.
I agree. I've got something here bothering me on the top. Excuse me. I'm using AI as my friend, and don't be afraid of this and don't be scared of this, but I have named my chat GPT Sylvie, the French version of Sylvia. And she helps me with the introductory poems. This I love the 12 stanza rhyming bio we did with Bob's entire life. We call this his origin story rhyme. And Sylvie helps me, but I don't just tell her, go write it, Bob. As you know, I sent her your bio, all the details you sent me, and thank you for being detailed and chronological. I appreciate that. And I said, Sylvie, let's make this rhyme 12 stanzas. And within about 5 to 10 seconds, she comes back. First, I see thinking, thinking, thinking. She comes back and she sends me her best version, her first best version. And then I go back to the text bio you sent me and I compare it and I say, did we get all of the high points, the hot spots, if you will? Did we do this respectfully to Bob? Do I like the rhymes? Am I comfortable with the way they rhyme, with the words she's rhyming? And I'll go back to her sometimes and say, no, we got the part about the courthouse and the famous people were there. She didn't cover that well. So I went back, I sent her the text again, and I said, let's redo that part. And she did, and I still didn't like it. So I took bits and pieces and fixed them up myself because I'm a poet too. So there. But I've also found out recently that I call mine a she can help me redo my profile bio, Bob, for LinkedIn. And mine was a little bit convoluted. They only give you 250 characters. Hold on, I got to take a sip. No, it's water. Mm. And I asked her to come up with a jazzier version, and she did. It was a little too jazzy, so I toned it down a little, but I haven't refreshed that in a while, and she helped me with it. I didn't know she would do that. And Bob, you and I have been on some of my shows here where we have a panel talking about favorite AI apps. We've had people say it helps them pick clothes out, it helps them plan vacations. I I recently heard from somebody on one of my shows who was looking to take a family trip to, let's say, Italy. And there were going to be three children under the age of 15 and two adults, and they wanted to do some educational sightseeing, but they wanted to do some art sightseeing. And they asked whatever they were using, LLM, whether it was ChatGPT or Claude or what are some of the others, some of the other Gemini.
Copilot,
Cool.
yeah.
And it came back with a full itinerary for the whole family with where to take the kids and how long to stay and what the tickets would be and where the adults could go and how to be in the same physical vicinity so that the travel was minimized from site to site. And AI did that for them and they were beyond delighted. What do you think of that?
I think that's a great use of AI. One of my favorites is called Lucy AI, which is like a great receptionist for me without actually employing one. She takes all my calls, handles my schedule. She acknowledges people by name if they're calling for a second or third time because they she gets all the information the first time they call. She can schedule them into my place, whatever they need to
You're
do.
talking about an audio where it's a bot that actually answers your phone for you and
Announce for me and ask them to identify themselves if they've never had that number call before. And then once it has that, then it addresses them by name every time thereafter, schedules them into my next availability automatically, thanks them for calling. I mean, it's fantastic.
did you get to pick Lucy's voice? By the way, Lucy is one of my nicknames, but we won't go into that right now. Did you get to pick the voice for Lucy, the accent, the country, the tone? What did you do?
Well, I left it quasi-American and all that and female, but you can play with it a little bit. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, I think we've got a I think we have something really good here. I'm going to do the here gun. There we go. That's what I wanted, the gasp. I don't know if Lucy does I'm going to play with the sound effects today. Well, you're coming back in a couple weeks, as I said, with talking about intergenerational learning, education, and the impact on when teachers are teaching other generations other than their own demographic. So, could a boomer teacher or a Gen Jones, which is slightly younger than boomers, teach a Gen Z or a Gen Y? Could a Gen Z? We know a Gen Zer, Bob, we know him very well, who is teaching other Gen Zs and Gen Ys. We know some Jones who are creating online learning courses for all age demographics. So it's interesting how AI can help understand how they learn. How do they learn? But to me, more important for that show is how does the teacher teach? What is their teaching style? What is their approach? What is their training? What is the point? What is the curriculum? And how do they get that across in the style that suits them and suits the audience, which is the students? So, what do you think? AI is pretty helpful for that too?
I mean, the easiest way to describe it is to take a K to 12 thing, but it applies to higher education as well, where you can imagine the difference between a child in second or third grade reading an old dusty textbook about dinosaurs versus watching a dinosaur forage for food, watching President Lincoln deliver the Gettysburg Address instead of reading it in a book. It makes a world of difference and it more than doubles the retention because it's affecting four or more senses at the same time. Traditional teaching, sadly, only touches two or fewer senses and results in about a 30 percentile retention rate, which is not very good.
So, we're talking multimedia here. We're talking multimedia as a way, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and AI is orchestrating that. I think it's interesting. I remember my years in school and it was textbooks all the way, all the way. That's what we had. And the teacher would write something on the board. Sometimes do you remember when I'm dating myself here, they would roll in the AV machine and you would see a film
I'm the nap time, baby. Nap
on
time.
a pull down screen in the front of the class, or you go to the auditorium and they do it on the big screen in the back of the stage. But then again, I would like to move on a little bit now and let's go to what we usually do on the Cool Dude Show. I'm the TOO Saucy Dame and you're the TOO Cool Dude, Bob F, Dr. Bob. Let's go to music. What are some of your favorite songs? Present, past, any genre, whether they're well known or not. What are some songs that talk about your story, inform you, advise you, or just make you happy? What are some of your favorite songs, Bob?
Take It Easy by the Eagles.
Perfect.
Running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got seven women on my mind. Four that want to hold me, two that want to stone me, one says she's a friend of mine.
I have to get the applause track for that. Hold on. There, there we go. Okay. All right. You deserve that. Bob, what else have you got?
Oh, it's got to be, let's see. Next one I like is comforting numb. Trying to remember. Comfortable numb. Pink Floyd.
Okay. All right. I don't know that one. You got any words for us?
I don't know if I have the words, but it's David Gilmour does a fantastic job of bending his solo to whatever mood the audience is in. He can make it serious, he can make it fun, he can make it like a Renaissance fair. I mean, it's just, fan
Cool.
stuff.
Got a couple more songs?
Well, this might surprise you, but I like Comfort by Halsey.
I don't know that song. I don't know Halsey either. I know the name, but I don't know the music. You want to give us a little
Kind of
preview?
tells a story where she props this guy up only so he can take advantage of her. And it's it's a kind of sort of an interesting story. I watched her at the Thunder Casino last Friday night.
Oh, cool. That's cool. Have you been to any concerts recently? All right, tell us, regale us. Go ahead.
I went and saw the Eagles at the Spear, which, if you haven't been to the Spear in Las Vegas yet, it is a destination you have to see. I mean, it's like being in a 360 concert where all the concert images and the history of the group and all their albums and all that stuff are displayed across the roof and the ceiling and all that. They built 160,000 speakers into that facility. So there's no such thing as a bad seat or bad sound anywhere. you hear it great. So that kind of kicked it off. From there, I went and saw Santana and Counting Crows at the.
Be still, my heart. I love to play Santana when I was drumming a couple years ago. Go ahead.
I went and saw ZZ Top in Stockton. Then I went back to Vegas and saw Brian Adams play at the Encore. Fantastic. Just released his new album, Roll with the Punches. Good song and all that.
Wow.
Then I came back and I went and saw Halsey, and I'm going to go see Train at the Ironstone September. And I was going to go see Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks at Levi, but they canceled.
Yeah, he had to. He's not doing too well vocally. Oh, sorry about that. You are on a music tour. Wow. So
Well,
anything else later in the fall? You got any plans?
yeah, well, I got the train coming up, and then might go see Brian Adams again. He put on such a good show. He's playing in the SAP Arena on November 19th.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. What's your favorite song of all time? That if somebody had to say, Bob, we're doing a party for you, Bob. We want to play the best song you've loved the most your whole life, or the parts you can remember. Uh, and when you walk in the room for this fete of Bob, what song would you want them to play?
Smoke on the Water by Deep Purple.
I tried to drum that. That's not an easy song to drum. Smoke on the water. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow. You want me to give you some of my favorite songs?
Sure. What are
Well,
your
my favorite songs are, I love the Donna Summer discography because I was a disco dancer and a hustle dancer. And back in the day, I was teaching, I was doing parties and exhibitions and concerts.
no
And I,
rollers don't bend to disco, right?
She works hard for the money and hot stuff, but I was never one of those girls. On the radio, shy girl. I've been on the radio. I still call this radio, Bob, for about 25 years. No More Tears. Enough is enough is enough. I think that was a Streisand a duet. Last Dance. I still dance in the kitchen now, but I'm not dancing in public anymore. And I feel love with that wonderful machine sound from Giorgio Moroder. But Bob, I recently checked on a whim the Billboard magazine's top 100 hot songs of 1978. And this was the year-end list. And I picked out some of my favorite songs from that year. And I'd like to share those with you. Let's see if you remember any of these, or if you even like them if you do. Shadow Dancing by Andy Gibb. Shadow Dancing. Remember that one? He was one of the Bee Gees.
I do.
You do. And then talking about Bee Gees, Night Fever. How Deep Is Your Love? Oh, what a song. And Staying Alive. Okay. Saturday Night Fever era. Debbie Boone, You Light Up My Life. Remember that? She was Pat Boone's daughter. All right, all right, all right, all right. I won't get mushy. Then two really hot dance songs. A Taste of Honey did Boogie Oogie Oogie. Great disco song. And there was one of my favorite songs. I haven't played it in years because I think I'll cry. Odyssey did Native New Yorker, and that speaks to me at all levels you can imagine. Then we go to the movies. Travolta and Olivia Newton-John saying, You're the One That I Want. Remember, You're the One That I Want? Ooh, 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 ooh. I think that was from Greece. How could we get through 1978 without Barry Manilow? Can't smile without you. I'm completely off key. And Copacabana. What?
Manilow in 1978.
Say it again.
Should leave Barry Manilow in 1978.
Oh, come on. I write the songs. Bruce Johnson wrote that, but it sounded like he wrote that. Copacabana, at the I went to the Copa on a date in high school. I think it was after or before a prom, and they put us, because we were only 18, 17, they put us near the kitchen. Yeah,
Slow dances where you always wanted the slow dances, right? Where you could kind of cuddle up with them.
yeah, somebody I know called that hug and chuck dances. And then we have a couple more. Go ahead.
We always tried to pinpoint what the longest songs were, like Inagata Davida by Iron Butterfly.
My my old dance partner used to call that hug and chuck dancing. And then I have three more disco songs. One is Disco Inferno by the Tramps. Remember that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was there. And Shame by Evelyn Champagne King. What a fabulous song. And then there's one more that you will probably know, Deacon Blues by Steely Dan.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So let's go to the part of the show. We got plenty of time here for off the top, fast and furious. And I'm going to pick a couple topics and I'll pose a topic and you'll answer and then I'll answer. So let's go through a whole bunch of these because we have time. Number one, everybody's asking me. Dr. Bob does so much. He goes so many places. He's had so many careers. He was a cop. He handled high profile cases. He went into education. He's worked for so many companies. He is now consulting. He's teaching. He's using AI. Is there anything stopping him? The answer is no. But everybody wants to know what powers your day? Do you have a special drink for breakfast? Do you have a special food? What gets you going? Is it don't just say coffee. If it's coffee, I want to know exactly. But how do you start your day that gives you all that power, Bob?
I think it's pretty easy. I have two things still I want to accomplish every day, right? First one is learn something new, and the second one is to lift someone up that needs it.
And what powers you physically? I need to know. What do you have for breakfast or when do you get up and what do you have? Because I have my shake in the morning. What do you have that put in your body that says time for fuel? Let's power him up. What do you got?
Well, it's mostly coffee, but I also have either a English muffin with organic peanut butter,
Ooh,
you know, or granola bar that's healthy, something like that
okay. Tell me something. Do you put your English muffin in the toaster or do you put it in a pan?
in the toaster.
I have trouble getting the settings on my toaster to toast the Thomas's English muffin so that it's hot and not burned but not mushy. What do you do?
Well, people get confused. They think that the settings are to do with the doneness of whatever you're toasting. It's
Yeah,
actually the minutes. So,
really.
so if you just adjust the minutes to get it exactly the way you want and then leave it there,
I
right?
will try that because I have my little mini everything bagels, which I enjoy, but once in a while I want an English muffin and they're just not coming out right. They're coming out a little bit on the mushy side, or they're coming out too crisp, and I just want it where the butter will melt in the crannies, all of that. Okay, good. All right. Mine, as you know, is a banana milkshake with 1% milk, eight ounces of 1% milk, a couple of ice cubes, a couple of slices of frozen unsweetened strawberries, a squirt of raw organic agave syrup instead of sugar. It's probably just as bad for you as sugar is, but it's more fun because it pours. Looks like maple syrup, but it's not. And a banana. And the banana has to be not mushy and not hard, and it can't have all kinds of speckles and spots on it. And I have to buy 9 a week because I need to have them last a week, some green, some anyway. And once in a while, I'll be really bad and put a scoop of, not a scoop, a spoonful, a couple of them of Breyer's old fashioned vanilla ice cream into the milkshake. And I just bought a brand new. I use the Hamilton Beach Personal Blender, which has a pulse button. It doesn't have an on off. And it comes with two containers and two lids so that if one wears out, because they leak after about 6 months, I have for the next. So I've got about 8 of those motors up in the cabinet, but so I use the containers for planters after a while. You put a little saran wrap in the bottom and the water doesn't leak. You're laughing. I'm a recycler. Anyway, so I blend that a couple of times and then I have a reusable plastic straw and I take it in my office here and I enjoy the beverage. That's what powers me. What do you think? Do you think I'm getting enough power?
We appreciate the fact that you're using a recyclable straw. That's
And recycling the containers too. Okay, let's go to our next topic here. The next topic is, do you have a superpower? And if so, what is it? Do you like it? Do you use it? Do you hate it? Do you regret it? Do you want to exchange it? Talk.
well, I would not change it. But the neat thing about this superpower is anybody that can have it that wants to do the work. My superpower is a high level of emotional intelligence, which has brought a lot of peace to my life. It means that you don't argue with anybody. If someone wants to walk up to me on the street and tell me 2 + 2 is 5, I say, thank you, great, have a good day, and walk away. There's no point arguing with anybody. The other thing is not to worry about anything you can't control, and that gets rid of a lot of your worries, right? You can't control it, you can't affect it, so why worry about it? And another one would be, just to learn to let go. We do so much self damage, by our self criticism and things like that. And you have to understand that you're not put on this earth to compare with anyone. Your only job is to become the best version of yourself.
I want to take lessons from you. I want your superpower. Mine is just getting people to talk to me. That's my superpower. Like getting people like you to come on the show and talk to me. Seriously, Bob, the emotional intelligence, I really like that. I've been aspiring to that for years. As far as not arguing with people, uh, the power I don't have is to turn off that urge to say seriously or but rather than and but is the challenge and is raising the bar and being able to just let it slide away.
Well, see, here's the problem with that, Bonnie. We don't have an infinite amount of time.
Yep, that's true.
So how do you want to use your time and energy? If you use it arguing, you're not going to have enough to enjoy life and enjoy the pleasurable moments of life.
Well, sometimes the arguing leads to making up.
Well, but it's just why spend any time on anything you can't control, you can't fix, you can't change. You just live in peace, go forth.
There you go. I like that. I like that attitude a lot. Yeah, I still stay with my superpower is getting people to be comfortable talking to me, sharing their life with me, sharing things that I have a lot of authors who come on these shows and on my Monday show, Read My Lips, Cool Conversations with Creatives, and they say nobody ever told them they were a creative person. They never thought about it, or nobody ever asked them for the details, the background about their life. So I'm going to ask you a question, which I haven't asked in a while. How did you make the transition? You know where I'm going with this. From being a law enforcement professional, and I'll just leave that big hat open for you to come into that at whatever point in that part of your life career you were, to make it to learning, to make it to being a professor, to being a PhD, to counseling and coaching and instructing. How did you make that leap of faith? And did you have that emotional intelligence early on? That's a big question. This is not an interview, but I want to know.
Sure. So, what prompted me to leave law enforcement was my last job as a detective was investigating crimes against children.
Mm,
And I don't want to go into details or bring the audience down, so I'll just leave it at that. I
okay.
would say that every time I investigated one, it made me think of my children,
Okay.
and it just sapped everything I had in me to try to get confessions and things like that.
Hmm.
But at that point, I began looking for something else I could do. I went back to school because we had an education benefit, started working on my degrees, and then I ended up getting my first HR role after taking classes and getting my HR certificate and all that kind of stuff with Century Theaters, and then went on from there. By the way, you want to know why you have to pay so much for popcorn?
Yeah.
So here's how it works in the movie theater business. The movie theater chain has to pay daily rental on each copy of the movie that it has. So New Line Cinema or Disney, whoever produces the movie, if the theater's showing it on three screens, they have to have three copies. They have to pay daily rental on each copy they have. And the better the movie, like if it's a summer blockbuster like F1 or Superman or whatever, then the box office revenue gets taken. 100% of the box office revenue goes to the movie producer because they'll say we want 100% of the box office revenue. We're not giving you our movie to show, right? So if they take the box office revenue, the movie theater has to pay the daily rental plus it has to pay all the labor and all that. And the only income stream left, revenue stream left, is concessions, right? Only 40% of the ticket buying public buys concessions, and because most of you sneak it in your purses and your coats and stuff.
Don't look at me.
But so you have to charge that 40% enough to offset all those costs. Their net is about the same 3% that most grocery stores generate, right? Because the actual bucket of popcorn that they sell for $5 or $8 or whatever only costs them really about 52, 53 cents. But they have to price it up to make enough revenue to pay for all those costs.
Wow, did not know that. So even if you know you're going to get over buttered, over salted, old stale popcorn,
Oh,
what? No, no, never, never. You've never had bad popcorn in a movie theater, Bob?
I never have, no.
Okay. All
Oh,
right. Well, I don't go to movie theaters anymore, so and I don't make popcorn at all. I got rid of my popcorn maker, but we'll leave. Thank you for that factoid. I really appreciate that. That's good to know. I don't think the public knows that, do you?
no, I don't think that's known by most people. I'm happy to share, but I mean, so then once I got into HR and leadership, I will candidly admit that I didn't develop my emotional intelligence till I was 50, or later. I wish I had had that level of emotional intelligence when I was
Well,
younger.
what happened at 50?
As you start to get a little more retrospective and introspective, and what do you really want out of life, and those kinds of things. And there was a book. I don't want to recommend books per se for any other author, but I read a book that helped. And began working on it and developing it, and I began to realize how important it was. And that's the one secret, that if everybody could spend some time focused on their emotional intelligence, because it's very much linked to their mental health, their emotional health
Hmm.
things, they would be so much happier and they would have so much more peace in life,
And
you know,
in the world.
in the world. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Didn't, and okay, let's go back one more step. What led you to go into law enforcement in the first place? Let's start there. How dare she ask? Go ahead, Bob.
I think, like a lot of people, when I was 5 years old, I was the one that always wanted to wear the white hat and the badge and be one of the good guys and save the world, and all those kinds of things. In fact, I don't know if you want to see it. I got a photo opened up of my dad and I.
You want me? I have to close the sound card. Hold on. All right, you go ahead. You can share, please.
I've got it on my screen.
You can share.
Okay, let me click sharing here.
Yep, it's open.
Okay, share uh,
Desktop.
desktop documents. Uh, Let me see if I can find it here.
Got it on. You want to play with it?
Yeah, don't worry about
You sure? Do you have it on a phone or anything? You could just hold it up for us?
it. Let me see. That'll take.
Okay. All right. Let's wait for that. Let me put sharing, let me put my my audio sharing back up because I want to do something special now here. I think we have a special segment. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
You ready? Okay. Oh wait, hold, Bob, you got to look up. Hold on one second. I'm taking a phone call. Well, well, hold on. Hold on. Hello? Hello, who is this? This is Stanley Kubrick? This is, wait a minute, Chuck Lorre? This is David E. Kelly? Wait a minute, Martin Scorsese is there too? James Cameron? Guy Ritchie? Zemeckis? Or Zemeckis, sorry. No, Steven Spielberg is on the line too. Chandra Rhimes, she just came in. What do you want? I'm on the live streaming here with Dr. Bob Ficken. Bob, look up. I got an important message for you. They got together. They're having coffee somewhere famous in LA, and they don't want to do a promo for it. Bob, they want to get together and they want you to decide, pick one of them as a director, and they want to make either a movie or a TV series about a character modeled on your life, but it's not a biopic. It's not called the Dr. Bob F movie. It's not a biopic. So they want to know, do you want it to be a thriller, a comedy, a drama, a musical, an action, time travel, romance, anything like that? Who do you want to play you? And what's the title? All right, listen, everybody, we're busy. I'll call you back. Don't go anywhere. Bye bye. They listen to me. Go ahead. Okay, Bob. What
Was
we got?
director, and I think Harrison Ford would play me.
Okay, and what's the title of the movie? And who? What is your character doing in the movie?
Well, there's already been a movie about Bob. Richard Dreyfuss starred in it.
Okay, but it's not a biopic. It's so. What did you say? Is it a drama? Is it action? What do you want to do?
I want it to be a romance.
What?
More important than love.
What? A romance? And Harrison Ford. Do you have a female lead then?
Charlize Theron.
Oh my goodness, we're getting up into the stratosphere here. Okay. And what's the title of this film? And it's going to be about, and he's going to have been a law enforcement officer and he's going to have to make a transition. He's got deep emotional intelligence, probably at an earlier age than 50. So it's a love story for the ages. And title, what do you really want to be called?
Around the World with Bob.
Okay. But it's not a biopic, it's a romance. Okay. All right. Any other characters you want in it?
Brad Pitt can be my son.
Oh my. Do you have a son in real life?
I do.
Okay. And you have a daughter in real life? Would she be in it too?
Yeah, let's make her Angelina Jolie.
Oh my God, what a family. His kids are Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. Do you think they'll talk to each other on the set? Okay. All right. That would be very, very interesting. And who did you say you wanted for the director? Tell me again. Say it again.
Steven Spielberg. Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg. Okay. I'll call them back after we're done and tell Spielberg. Let me highlight Spielberg. Shonda Rhimes is going to be upset because she wanted to do a very fast talking drama. Hold it up. We can't see it. Nope. Hold it, hold it, hold it. There it goes. Right up under your face, right under your mouth, under your chin. Hold it as close to you as you can. Is that you?
My dad on graduation at the academy.
Oh my, and you had a mustache. Look at that. What a picture. Hey. Hey, Policeman Bob, thank you very much. So I'll tell Spielberg that you're gonna send him your origin story bio and he can make the movie based on, and you really want the name Bob in the title, right? Around the World with Bob?
Instead of Finding Nemo, maybe we'll just make it Finding Love.
Okay. All right. There's probably 100 movies like that already made, but we'll tell Spielberg to give it a little sparkle, a little twist for you. Mine wouldn't be. Mine would be. It would be directed by Shonda Rhimes. It would be fast talking. It would be a TV musical sitcom, and it would either be Reba McEntire or Bonnie Raitt would be the redhead star, and it would be modeled on a radio station, and it would be similar to Reba's new show, Happy's Place.
Not
And
WKRP.
hmm?
Not WKRP.
No, this would be something else. This would be WLOVE. Oh, yes. Okay, and Shonda's going to write some really, really fast, zippy dialogue for whoever this person is, and they'll be surrounded by some really cool actors and actresses who are very, very funny in their own right and can really put a lot of schmaltz into their lines and work well off of each other. And one of the caveats will be that Shonda will write in some segments where, and I'll tell you what it's called in a second, she'll write in some segments where it's possible for them to do some improving of the lines and make some really memorable moments, you know?
That's good because in a lot of the movies, the famous lines we like were all ad-libbed.
You know you were going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, Roy
In
Scheider,
Jaws, Roy Scheider was ad-libbed, and you know why? Do you know the story?
you know, I'm gotta go. It's about a girl, you know.
Nope, nope. We're going to need a bigger boat was because the producers of the movie were cheap and they didn't spend enough on the launch boat that was taking them in and out of the scenes and on all of the craft tables and all the things, the background, the production accessory, shall we say. That's my word. I'm sure it's not an official word. And they looked at what was happening with this boat, which wasn't really getting the job done. And he said, we're going to need a bigger boat. There was a woman editor. Her first name was Ellen. I don't remember her last name. And she left it into the final cut of the movie and didn't cut it out. It was never in the script. And it became, I think, the 100th greatest quoted movie line of all time. We're going to need a bigger boat. And that's where it came from, a cheap production. There you
That's
go. There you go. That's my research. Okay. And mine will be called, let's see, it'll be called one of the Donna Summer songs. It will be called um, either On the Radio or Be Sure to Tune In. That's what it'll be called. Be sure to tune in, okay? And it'll be about a radio person who plays drums and who's a dancer, and it'll be a redhead and who did stand-up comedy as well. So I'll be a little bit of a bio, but there. What do you think? Would you go see that? Would you watch it?
Lily, she writes poetry too.
She writes poetry. There you go. Okay, let's have a couple more questions here, and then we got to go to our wacky stories. Are you going to share any visuals of your wacky stories, or are you going to just talk?
I'm just gonna talk.
All right, I've got visuals for mine. You do your first one. This is where we share stories that are news articles that are not well known, that most people wouldn't know about, that are fun and interesting. So, Bob, go ahead. What's your first one? We'll go back and forth. I'll do one, you'll do one.
I'll do one that everybody can relate.
Okay, let's have it.
Called the baker's dozen.
Okay,
Oh, in Western culture,
excuse me.
13 is often considered unlucky, but we often refer to a set of 13 as a baker's dozen, even though a dozen is a group of 12. This confounding term can be traced back to the Middle Ages. According to the New York Times, when shillings, a former form of British currency, were divided into 12 pence, roughly equivalent to pennies. Many merchants sold individual goods for a single pence or bulk goods by the dozen for a single shilling, making change easier. The concept of a baker's dozen comes from Old England's medieval era commerce. The 13th century law, a cc of bread and ale law, regulated the weight of bread and beer to prevent consumers from being cheated. A vendor who failed to meet the legal standards was subject to fine or punishment. Bread makers were so fearful of selling underweight goods, they'd throw in an extra loaf to meet the minimum weight threshold. The baker's dozen came out of this practice with 13 items regularly making up an order for a dozen.
I love it.
Isn't that fantastic?
I think that's fantastic. There, let's get a little more laughter here. There we go. Can you hear it? Oh, I don't have the audio on. All right. I can hear it. You can't hear it. Okay. Let me go to screen share now. I can only do one share mode at a time. I'm going to share my desktop and let's go to this. And here we go. Okay. So this article is called Tennis Balls Change from White to Yellow to Be Easier to See on TV. And this is in honor of Wimbledon going on this past week in London. And with a lot of surprises, I understand. By the early 1970s, let me move this a little bigger here on the screen so everybody can see it. By the early 1970s, many TV networks went from broadcasting in black and white to color, and more households were upgrading their TVs. It offered an immersive, entertaining experience, and especially in the innovation in the world of sports. In 1972, neon yellow tennis balls were introduced. Why, Bob? To be more visible on TV sets that were in color. The International Tennis Federation, the ITF, found that the brighter shade of yellow, called optic yellow, made it easier. Now, historically, tennis balls were white or black, depending on the color of the court. A white ball on a black court, black on white. But when in color, people couldn't track the trajectory of the balls. Even after they introduced yellow, white was still used, and Wimbledon didn't make the switch until when did they make the switch? 14 years later, until the tournament got with the times, courtesy of BBC broadcaster David Attenborough. He oversaw the switch. In 1986, years later, Wimbledon finally adopted the optic yellow tennis balls. And by the way, the dog named Finley the dog can hold 6 tennis balls in his mouth. Did you know that, Bob?
I did not know that.
There you go. That's a world record. I know you have a puppy, so that was for you. So what's your next story?
Well, just to add one thing, Wimbledon is the first time that they've done away with the line judges and they're using AI to determine whether balls run or out.
That's right. You told me that. Wow. Go ahead. All right. What's your next story?
Oh, okay, let's do why do non-Americans refer to Z as Z?
Why?
Well, let's see here. American customs don't always align, no kidding, with the rest of the English-speaking world. Take, for instance, the unique way that Americans pronounce the last letter of the alphabet. Americans measure with feet instead of yards and Fahrenheit instead of Celsius. And American English speakers use different pronunciations and spellings from the rest of the English-speaking world. One prime difference, the final letter of the alphabet, which Americans pronounce as Z and other English speakers call Z. The letter Z comes from the Greek letter zeta. The Romans borrowed that letter from the Greeks when creating the Latin alphabet, which inspired the modern English alphabet centuries later. Z was adopted as a similar sounding pronunciation to the original zeta and remains popular in most English-speaking countries, including the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, and more. Lexicographer Noah Webster worked to standardize the American English in the early 19th century, and his dictionary declared the official pronunciation of the letter to be Z, different from the one spoken by the British.
There we go. Well, that's good to know. And you never really know when you're talking to somebody in the countries who say Z, what they're going to say when you say Z and if they're going to say it, right? There are different ways of interpreting. I want to go to this next article. I'm looking at the clock here. We just got a couple minutes left. This is going on today. A 54-pound Martian meteorite, the largest piece of Mars ever discovered on Earth, is set up to go on auction at Sotheby's in New York. This is Geek Week, Bob, with an estimated value of $2 to $4 million. What would you pay for it, Bob?
I'd give him a free piece of land.
There you go. Today. It's called, I heard this on the news I was watching this morning. The name of this auction piece is NWA 16788. Not very sexy, is it? It includes, as part of a natural history themed sale that also includes a young Ceratosaurus dinosaur skeleton that's more than 6 feet tall and nearly 11 feet long. By the way, the meteorite is believed to have blown off the surface of Mars by a massive asteroid strike before traveling 140 million miles to Earth, where it crashed. Where? Into the Sahara Desert, thank goodness. A meteorite hunter found it in Niger in November 2023. It's 70% larger than the next largest piece of Mars found on Earth. I'm going to stop there. Very cool. Let's have your last story and then mine. We got about 4 minutes left. Go ahead.
I think that was mine, kiddo.
That was it. You didn't have a third story? I thought you had a third one. Nope.
I was going to do the rock.
Oh, I picked the rock because it was today. I'm sorry. Well, we both picked the rock. There we go. So let me do the screen sharing for one more story. I apologize. Here we go. The world's largest time capsule. Okay. Have you heard about this?
Oh,
This
what happened?
It was cracked open in Nebraska 50 years after being sealed. In 1975, a 45-ton treasure trove dubbed the world's largest time capsule, let me make this bigger here, was sealed in a small town in Nebraska. It was the year the Vietnam War ended. Microsoft was founded, and Bob, the movie Jaws was released that year. We were just talking about gonna need a bigger boat. Fast forward 5 decades, the artifacts were unveiled to the public last Friday, and this article was dated July 8th. Hundreds of people from across the country went to see it. This is 50 years of planning. It included handwritten letters, a wedding invitation, voice recordings, pet rocks, and what you're looking at, Bob, a yellow Chevy Vega and a teal suit. We can't see the teal suit, but we can see boxes of stuff. It took 3 days to crack open. Most of the artifacts did very well. They had a ventilation system to keep the moisture out. This man said Chris Galen traveled from Virginia to retrieve a letter from his late mother. That sounds very interesting. Beyond providing a peek of life from a half a century ago, it offers a special opportunity for people to reflect on their past and their present selves. And he says it's not about what's inside of it, it's about what's inside of us and who we were back in 75 and who we are today. So anybody who was alive in 75 would be 50 or 51 today. And they're the people looking. So what do you think? Do you recognize the yellow Chevy Vega, Bob?
First start.
There you go. That looks really cool. It looks like it's in somebody's backyard, doesn't it?
It does.
There's somebody, looks like there's an RV here. There's a house across the street. They didn't say where it was, just in a small town in Nebraska. How prescient of them, or should I say, how precious of them. Let me put the audio back on. How precious of them to do that. I thought that was very interesting.
Five Camaro, they could have had a bidding war.
There you go. Okay, Bob, we got 4 minutes. Tell me true. Tell me true. What would you say to somebody who wanted to be a cool, techie, geek nerd with multiple careers, a lot of passion, a lot of heart, and great emotional intelligence? What would you tell them to guide them along the way in their life? Could be any guy doing anything right now and wants to be a cool dude like you. What would you say?
Never stop learning.
Okay. And how would they learn? What should this be formal learning? Should this be book learning? Should this be curiosity? Go ahead.
That's the great thing about learning is it doesn't have to be going to school. It could be a class, it could be a seminar, it could be a webinar, could be coffee with an expert in their field, could be a random meeting with someone on a subway. There's so many chances to learn new things. And if you focus on learning something new every day, imagine what you'll know by the time you're our age.
I like that. Our age. Dr. Bob, they're screaming for you. I want to thank you so much. I would tell people if they want to be a saucy dame like me, just throw out all the protocols and just keep seeing. You know what Leonard Cohen says, if there's a little bit of light coming through the window, see what's on the other side. I say, if the door is open a tiny bit, kick the damn door open and see what's there. Don't be afraid of opportunities. Don't be afraid to shift direction, change paths, find new ways to express yourself, new passions, and just be present. What do you think, Bob? You go with that?
Look forward, not backward.
Look forward, not backward. We're going to play the outro here, and let's do this. And here we go.
Are you tired of hearing the future is already here? We are too. That may have been yesterday's future, but today's future hasn't happened yet. Take a deep breath, tune out the hype, the noise, and turn up the volume. Savvy, art of the possible technology visionaries talking about how today's innovations right now are shaping every aspect of our real future.
Listen.
We'll laser focus our spotlight on buzzworthy tech
Here we go.
like artificial intelligence,
Wow.
machine learning,
Wow.
Internet of Things, augmented reality, and lots more. Clear your calendar and open your mind for Technology Revolution, the future of now. With the most upbeat host on global radio, Bonnie D. Graham. Listen anywhere, anytime, on any device.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, there we go. Bob, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you to Jordan, our engineer. Thank you, whoever was watching and listening. And if you didn't catch us live, catch us if you can on demand. We'll be here around the clock starting in a couple minutes. Let me see if we can get some confetti going here. There we go. There's the confetti. Okay, we're going to go out. Bye bye.